I'm super excited for her. She had been trying to get in for 7 years, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so 7 years, and got her ticket pulled this past December. And I just thought it'd be great to interview her, get some of her thoughts as she prepares for this race on Saturday morning at 5 a.m. And so with that, Rebecca, how are you feeling?
Well, surprisingly, I feel pretty calm.
Yeah?
I keep thinking, when am I going to have like a freak out moment?
Yeah. So tell me, okay, 7 years to get your ticket pulled. Yeah. You were there and they called your name.
It was like this moment I had envisioned for so many years. And when it happened, it was kind of surreal. It was like, oh, did I just hear my name? So I don't know. I just was like, yeah, it took me a minute. It took a minute to register. So I just kind of heard my name and walked sort of slowly up to the stage. Someone told me they were like, I heard you were so slow.
So 7 years you kept putting in for this race. Why? I mean, some people might say, okay, I'm going to put in, a couple of times, maybe 4 times, and then just say, I'm done. What is it about this race that made you want to continue to get that qualifier and to, again, enter your ticket or put your name in the hat, so to speak? What was it that really had motivated you to keep trying?
And, I didn't give up after so many years because for me, it didn't really bother me that I wasn't selected. In my mind, it was like, well, I'm still going to be running. I'm still going to be doing these races. And, eventually it'll be my turn.
Interesting, like when you're in the middle of these hard races, you are, right? This beautiful landscape, and you're just like, okay, I'm out here and I chose to be out here and I get to be out here, and there's all this just gorgeousness around you, and you're like, I don't even care. Like right now, everything is just blank.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I think because in moments like that, you have to think about your immediate needs. Mm-hmm. And so it's a little,
survival.
Even though it can help, it can help to look around you and be like, wow, this is why I'm out here. But,
right.
Yeah.
And so when and I know you and I were talking about this yesterday, because we did our, training run together. And I said, when it gets hard, what do you do to pull yourself out of a low point? Because I know you and I talked about this. We anticipate having low points when you're running these big distance races.
Yes.
So for Western, I know you're going to have a low point or a couple of them. So what are you going to do when they hit?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one. It's very situational too. It just kind of depends on what's needed. I think that would be the first thing. I would be like trying to problem solve whatever the issue is that's causing the low point. And then I think, those are things that you have to kind of mentally train for. The more you can actually anticipate low points and know they're going to come, you can sort of practice, how do I want to move through that low point? And so I do visualization where I imagine myself in a low point, and then I kind of just imagine myself getting through it okay and trusting that I'll figure out what's needed to pull through it, and knowing that like I want to do it with grace and discernment, and if I can muster up gratitude and joy, that helps too. But yeah, I mean, it's really important to me to just, whatever I do, I have to be true to myself. And I've learned that the hard way too in the past. So I think that's going to be like at the forefront of, okay, if however I get through this, I want it to be honorable and true to myself. And so, and I just remember, like, sometimes we forget that, when we're in a panic or in a low moment, that we really have everything we need to make, like, just to remind myself, like, I have, we forget about how much resources we have at our disposal, like immediate disposal, and the support and everything. And sometimes you're kind of what your mind gets to a point where you think this like issue I'm having is insurmountable. But the truth is you'll figure it out, whatever it is. It might not even be the outcome you like, but you have everything you need to get through it. And so,
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, because I think that's an important piece for those of you who are attempting hundreds or, have done hundreds that haven't turned out the way you want them to. It's, it's how do you manage during those moments where, you hit the low point, or maybe you have to make the hard call to pull out. And it's essentially, being cool with all that. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what brought me to the 100-miler in the first place. I wanted to kind of be okay with uncertain outcomes and just more or less embrace the moment I'm in, and not think ahead of it. And I really think like a 100-miler kind of forces you to do that, especially when you're having a low moment. Sometimes you have to scale it back to a step at a time.
Yeah.
And that's basically what happened to me on my first 100-miler, mile 80. And once I kind of realized, okay, I'm not thinking about 20 miles to go. I'm thinking about the next step. And can I make the next, can I get through another step and another step? Like I literally scaled it back to a step at a time. And I just made my way to the finish line somehow, just by being present. So, I was very in tune with what my body was going through, but it wasn't all consuming. It was kind of like I could just semi-detach and just focus on the task at hand. So,
yeah. So with the topic of, just being in your body and being aware of what it's doing, so to speak, while you're in the middle of a 100-mile race, but also, you and I've talked about just the change, right? That women, as women, that we go through, we're in the middle of as we age. And I know you've been doing ultras for a few years. And I think this year, you and I've talked about like some things that have been happening.
Yes.
So maybe you can just touch on that a little bit.
Yeah. I noticed that my body's changing. My needs are changing. I have kind of energy swings, and I feel like I've done things to become a little more stable in that regard. But and part of that is just being more dialed in with nutrition, hydration, electrolytes. In the past, I could kind of just wing it and go intuitively by, I think I need this or that. And now it's like I'm really dialed in. Like I have a clock in my head where it's like, okay, I need this much calorie. I want to take in this much calories, this much water, this much, sodium or electrolytes, per hour or whatever it is. So I've been practicing that. And I think, that's something that I have to do at this point.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's interesting how much more resilient we are, right? When we're younger. And then as we get older, we're like, oh, okay, this age thing is actually starting to hit us, right? And especially as women. And I know there's a lot of talk right now about, menopause and what we can do to curb the symptoms of menopause and that sort of thing. And I think as endurance athletes, it's different. I don't know for you, but I know for me, I went through it, and I am aware of the fact that, to your point, my body has changed and I do need more rest. I need to sleep more. I need to go to bed early. And, I'm not an early riser. I mean, I wake up at a reasonable time, but I'm definitely not like a crack of dawn. I get up and I go, head out on the trails. And so definitely have made some adjustments, to your point. And so as you go into Western states this week, knowing, okay, Saturday morning, you're going to toe the line. What are you doing now mentally to prepare yourself for that?
I think just trying to create space to just be calm. So I'm going to go up early. I think that will be helpful mentally to just be there in that area. So I can kind of digest a little bit the whole scene, have some time with that, and before race day. And just like be in my own space, really. That's important for me.
It's my cat.
I can't have.
Let's talk about strategy. So you've been up there, you did the training camp, she did the training camp like all 3 days, and then she actually went up again. I think it was the very next weekend, right? Was it
2 weeks later?
2 weeks later.
Yeah.
And
which was 3 weeks out from the race.
And you did, and she just like said to me, I'm going to go out and I'm going to run, reverse from Robinson Flat and head towards Duncan Canyon because you wanted to experience that. And
the start too.
And then you went to the start. That's right. So you've seen the course.
Yeah.
And so what's your strategy? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Strategy like pacing or so I'm glad I went back and checked out parts of the first 30 miles that we don't do in the training camp because it's a lot more technical than I expected. And I think if I had gone into the race expecting it to be more runnable, that might be a little disheartening. So I just, I just realized I'm going to have to be patient at that point, and take my time with it. And I anticipate, 8, maybe 9 miles just to get to Robinson Flat, mile 30 or so. So,
I mean, hours.
Hours. Did I say?
Yeah, you said miles. No, it's okay. I just
thank you. Thanks for correcting me. I do that. I was telling someone the other day, there's only 1,600. There's 1,600 feet of climbing overall, and I'm like, no, it's 16,000. Like what is that? Wishful thinking.
You want it to be flat, fast, 100, right?
Yeah. 8 to 9 hours, and then probably another 8 hours to get to Forest Hill. So I feel like the more I can know what to expect, the better mentally prepared I am, and physically too, because I kind of have figured out, I would like a different shoe for the first maybe 60 miles, especially the first 30, because the other shoe I have is a higher stack height. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about brands. But
Actually, okay. I was going to ask you in terms of like, what's your setup? What's your go-to gear? Because I do want to know, and I want them to know as well. Maybe share a little bit about that.
So I'll start with the Nike, what is it? The Vaporfly, the trail shoe. And that one I think is a little more sturdy and stable, and I like the way it feels. It's kind of flexible in the toe area, and I tend to point my toes, and so I just need room for my toes. And so I think that'll be the first 30. Maybe if they're feeling good, up to 60 miles ish, and then I'll change them out to the Hoka. I like the Hoka with the high stack height because I think it really preserves my feet, especially in those later miles. So that's going to be my strategy for shoes. And then, just kind of take my time in the beginning. And then heat management. I did see that there's going to be a cooling trend coming. So
I saw
it's going to be like 71 in Auburn on that day.
Yeah,
so I imagine it'll be cool in Tahoe.
That's, pretty nice, actually.
Yeah. So I was kind of worried the most about the heat. And I'm happy that it's not going to be as much of a factor as I thought, but I still want to make sure that I'm, hydrating more, fueling more, because I know that burns more calories and your heart's working harder in the heat, and just cooling myself. I got a cooling tee shirt, and it's got I don't know what, thermal pads in it that keep your body cool. And then I'll have an ice buff, and I'm going to, you know, probably get in the streams along the way.
Right.
So, and then once I get to Forest Hill, I think the heat will be behind me, and at least I don't know that it will get that hot after sunrise. You know, I'm imagining I'll be okay, you know, with the heat at that point. And then I'll be with Bree from Forest Hill on. So I'll be looking forward to that. And I think that will make a huge difference too, having a pacer.
On that note, you typically, which is amazing about her, I will say, is, Rebecca has done many races without crew, without a pacer. And so this whole thing is unique, right? And I think it's awesome, and I'm excited to be a part of it. But, you know, is there anything, how can I ask this question? Just knowing that you're doing things differently this time. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Because some people they don't want a pacer, like, ever, or they don't want crew. So how has that been for you to include other people?
I think it's great. The only reason I haven't is kind of like, well, there's a few things that come up for me. I worry about the pressure of disappointing my crew, of like, if I drop out, I know that they're there for me and they don't care, but it's really hard for me to get past that. And, cause I'm like, oh, I don't want to disappoint them. Logistically, sometimes that can be, maybe more stress, but I love that this race is pretty local, and, it's, I just feel really blessed to have the support. I want to embrace it, and just like, I think it'll just be good vibes and make it that much smoother for me. So
that's great.
And I want to share that with, my closest people, and, because it's such an awesome experience to have this opportunity. And
and I love that. I mean, because it's they call it the big dance, right? It's the most iconic 100 on the planet. This is it. Like, this is the big dance, right? So I know that you're going to have a lot of people watching, but also there physically to cheer you on. So, like, do you have a favorite, like, pump up song that you're going to play before, or, like, how do you get yourself like, okay, this is it?
I don't know. It's weird. The calmer I am, the better.
Okay.
I don't like to pump. I don't like the pump up stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
I actually just get into my own headspace, and, I kind of like try to tune everything out and just go really internal. And I feel like the calmer I am, the better. For me personally. I know everybody has their thing, but that's cool. Kind of how I usually prepare for races.
So for those first time 100-mile runners who've never done 100, now you've done hundreds, you've finished them. What advice, and this is their first 100, what advice do you have for them?
I would say, just going back to trust your training, trust your process, let go of the outcome. Just try to be as present as possible. Enjoy it. And just remind yourself of why you're there. I mean, you chose to be there. And I've been thinking about that a lot lately. It's like, this is something we get to do, we choose to do. And make the most of it.
I love that.
I mean, you can't control everything, but you can control how you show up.
And that's right. That's important. And one more question before we wrap up is is there anybody that comes to mind that you want to dedicate this race to, or, you know?
Oh gosh, it would be several people, but yeah, I mean, you come to mind at the forefront. I'm so thrilled that you will be there with me.
Me too. I'm beyond excited. I mean, Rebecca and I, we've had many amazing talks and trail runs together, and we've just been each other's biggest support and cheerleaders. And, I'm just like so proud to be able to be out there, and I just know you're going to do amazing.
Thank you. Yeah. And she's like my mentor, and I know she doesn't like people to put her on a pedestal, but I kind of think of you that way. I look up to you, and I'm also just, I love you. And
thanks, Rebecca.
You mean a lot to me, and I'm just so glad you'll be there with me.
So you guys, we are excited. So I'm just going to say again, if you haven't ever seen the Western States 100, it is being live streamed starting at 4:30 in the morning. Palisades, and kickoff time is 5 a.m. Look for Rebecca Guenther, tracker, cheer her on, along with all the other, awesome runners that are going to be showing up to toe the line, and just follow along. It's going to be an awesome day. And, she'll be finishing on the track at Placer High School in Auburn. So, it's going to be amazing. I'm excited.
It won't be my fastest 400, but I'll try.
That's right.
It'll be a shuffle.
All right. So you guys tune in. Okay. Thanks for watching. And you know what? We'll probably have a follow-up interview after the race. So you guys got to come back, and hopefully you can hit the subscribe button and continue to follow.